the Holy Spirit was gently prompting Pius XII to give Our Blessed Lady, Queen of the Universe, the honour that was her due. What is less known is that possibly there was an immediate push given by the strange intervention of Our Blessed Lady in 1947, in Rome precisely, when she appeared first to the children of and then to Bruno Cornacchiola at Tre Fontane. He was about to give a lecture against Our Blessed Lady, and he also had with him the dagger with which he had vowed to assassinate the Pope, the proof being that he had it inscribed with the words, "Death to the Pope, Morte al Papa." What was his surprise when Our Blessed Lady appeared to him, and in a very unusual experience directly taught him the fullness of the Catholic faith, indicating that it was the true faith, and that the Pope was the Vicar of Christ on earth. But it appears that amongst the things that she taught him was, and with a certain clarity and insistence, her privileges, including the Assumption into heaven, body and soul. She also wanted him eventually to meet the Pope, and indications were given to him as to how to make that happen. And so it was that he did. And in that encounter showed him the dagger with "Death to the Pope" written on it. Now, to cut a long story short, the Holy Father himself was not unduly surprised, for a year before then he'd been warned about this through a mystic soul. He proceeded to define, with the accord of the bishops of the world, Our Blessed Lady as assumed into heaven, body and soul. There was still, until 1969, an octave of that feast, and in 1954 the same Pope created this feast of the Queenship of Our Blessed Lady, at the conclusion of that octave. In popular piety, there always was that distinction. The Assumption is the fourth glorious mystery, and the Coronation is the fifth. The Holy Spirit will not allow the global faith of the Church to be in error, so this is also part of the ordinary magisterium very early on. This then is our Queen. We have, unfortunately, an expression in English which does not correspond to the power and precision of the original Greek, which of course goes back to the Council of Ephesus. Theotokos. The root of theos is the same, God, but the other part of tokein is not. The Latin equivalent is Dei Para, birth giver of God. Dei Genetix is also close. So Mother of God is a loose, almost colloquialism, easy to say and convenient, but not as precise and theologically accurate as what it is trying to express and translate. The whole point is that she carried the one who was God, and thanks to her, man. It's important to understand the complication of the issue at stake. They were trying to define in these early councils the ins and outs of Christology. One person, two natures. But the second nature only existed from the moment of conception in the womb of the Blessed Virgin. Therefore she was birth giver of God, but she was the one who gave humanity. And so it is that we see that all our faith is logical, and it is normal that she should have this huge privilege forevermore and become the brightest of creatures, taking the place precisely of the one who hates her perfectly for that reason, Lucifer, who had been the brightest of creatures in pre-time. Thus we understand how she has more power and more intimacy than we can possibly understand. Do we treat her accordingly, or brush her aside by getting through our Marian duties? The tools that we have are gentle but powerful. But I am convinced that we do not explode these bombs. We don't engage. We are too mechanically minded. We equate prayer with saying prayer. It's not thus in our intimacy with each other. We know well and we mean what we say. We know the difference between bumpings and true encounterings. It takes time to enter into another. It takes attention to have the totality of encounter take place. Quality encounter demands a certain effort. Why should a Blessed Lady receive so much less? Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary,